Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you like making money, this is the channel for you. Click subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Today we're going to go over opportunities in commodities. So I'm going to go through, kind of step through what I think are opportunities and what sectors may be better than another. So let's jump in and look at opportunities in commodities. So capturing value, there are a lot of opportunities in the commodities sector. Which are the best opportunities? How should I allocate my money in the commodity sector themselves? Copper, nickel, uranium, oil and nat gas, what's the best? What should I be in? What I do is I allocate to a lot of them. I look at the market deficits of future materials or metals and how large those deficits are. I would look at the risks associated with the investment vehicles you are selecting. Most are individual companies that I'm selecting. I spread out my money and try to capture the best value wherever I can. And I call this the gift. So I think any of the large market deficit markets, there's going to be exceptional companies that are going to outperform and return ridiculous amounts of money. Doesn't matter the sector. This is where the special sauce is for investors. Finding the good companies in each sector and investing in those opportunities is, quote, the gift. I try my best to capture the value in each sector I can and get the returns that that sector has to offer. And I don't specifically know which sector is going to necessarily return the best in which companies. That is the hard part of investing. And the valuations, uranium is vastly undervalued and is highly leveraged. So I think that's a good spot to look at. Oil and natural gas, liquefied natural gas, they're all in the same boat as uranium. I think they're all very good bets and they're extremely undervalued. Silver, platinum, copper, tin, zinc, and nickel are metals with very good opportunities. And I think if you can find good companies that are explorers and producers in those, I think they're going to do absolutely fantastic. And again, most are just beginning their breakout of their chart patterns in terms of prices. So we're still at a very good opportunity value-wise and chart-wise. And looking at market balances and charts, we know a lot of these minerals are going into deficit and they're going to do so at different times. I can I could put a bunch of price charts in front of everybody, but that doesn't necessarily, you're not going to necessarily know which companies and which sectors are going to perform the best in this next commodity bull market. I think what's important here is finding those companies that can deliver on projects, irrespective of what sector they're necessarily in, as long as the sector they're in is going to be good and it's undervalued. So I just want to reiterate this, the value creation portion. So value is created for shareholders in two ways in commodity type companies. Through exploration, which is expanding the reserves, and through producing those reserves. The highest returns will be from companies who go from exploration to production, increasing shareholder value through this entire process. And I don't think it's going to necessarily matter if it's silver or copper or nickel or uranium. In any of those sectors, you're going to find companies that are going to outperform and do exceptionally well. So finding companies, look for companies that are just starting uptrends, in their new uptrend. Most of the commodities have turned already and some of these companies should also be turning with it. In these sectors, since the leverage to price commodities is high and can be volatile, we should focus on position size. So don't forget that. Correct position size and a good spread will keep your risks lower in case one of these companies has a problem. And remember to correctly size your allocation according to your net worth. You don't want to put all of your money in one position or two or three or four, or even all your money in these higher risk companies that maybe I'm presenting. So what I did is I'm going in with some of my money into all of these high reward sectors. I put a good chunk in every single one of them in terms of ones that I think are going to do well in each one of those sectors as well. I've used recommendations from subscribers from this channel. Those are some of the recommendations that people had that I thought may look pretty good. And those are not recommendations. I'm just telling you that I used some from the subscribers. And I think each sector has some ridiculous returning companies in it. You just need to find those companies. I don't think the sector's as important. It's the company. And we know the sector's going to, most of these sectors are going to do well. It's just finding those companies. And finding those companies are more important than getting in a, I would say, a company that's not nearly as good, but in a good sector, or a little bit better sector, so to speak. The conclusion here is I think uranium, oil, natural gas are probably the most leveraged moves. That's my guess, since someone was asking, what do I think is the most leveraged? I think royalty companies can provide leverage without a lot of risk. And I think explorers turning into producers could be some of the highest returning companies in the bull market, irrespective of the sector. I think trying to get a little money into the explorers that turn into producer stocks in each sector might be the best bet. If you know a lot about a company and not so much about another sector, I think it's just fine to stick with what you know. You don't have to diversify out in every single sector. But if you are good with 3 of the sectors, then stick with those 3. You don't have to just spread your money out just to spread it out. You don't want to do that. You still want to be in the sectors that you know a lot about and that you're interested in. And you don't want to trade. If you know you have a very good company, you don't want to sacrifice that company. Don't take money from that company and put it somewhere else in a less, we'll call it a inferior investment company, just because you want to diversify. If you know that this company is very good, then stick with it. Go with what you know. Don't go and just diversify to diversify. So that's my opinion. That's what I see coming up in this commodity is I think you can find absolute killer companies in nickel, copper, in anything. It's more about the company than it is about the sector in some of it. Because if they're all going to go up, and they're all going to go up quite substantially, if you can find the best of breed of all of the sectors and get a little bit of each, I think you're absolutely going to kill it. And I think the volatility in your portfolio will be reduced as well. It's not going to be all or nothing as these things go up and down. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments section what you guys think, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.